Welcome to the deep dive. We take compelling sources, pull out the best bits, the actionable stuff just for you. And today, we're really cutting through the noise. We're tackling something huge, building real direction, you know, purpose in your life. Our source for this one is, well, it's this fantastic audiobook. It really challenges how you might think about things. It offers this powerful shift, almost radical, looking at how focusing squarely on yourself, your needs, your vision, can genuinely transform your future. It's a real goldmine.
Absolutely. And our mission really is to pull out the most potent, actionable insights from it for you. We're going to walk through defining your path with real clarity, developing the skills you actually need for that path, and maybe most importantly, how to handle all the distractions that constantly try to, pull you off course. Think of this as your shortcut, getting you properly informed on something that, well, it shapes every decision you make.
Yeah, because we've all been there, haven't we? That feeling. Stuck, maybe distracted, just not sure where you're headed. If that sounds like you, then yeah, this deep dive is exactly the starting point you might have been looking for. Get ready for some clarity. Okay, so let's kick off with the core idea, because it's a big one. It might even feel a little uncomfortable at first. The day you really start focusing on yourself, that's the day your real life begins. The source talks about how so many of us get caught up looking sideways, comparing, copying, trying to keep up with what everyone else is doing. But inside, you still feel kind of lost because you haven't actually stopped to make your own life the priority. And if you don't prioritize you, well, you'll always feel like you're just walking someone else's path.
Right. And it's so important to get why this self-focus isn't selfish. It's actually, well, it's necessary. It's about making choices that genuinely work for your life, not based on what someone else thinks or, what looks good on social media. When you start focusing on what you want, where you're going, what needs to change for you, that's when you build yourself up. And when you build yourself, you build your direction. It's really the only way out of feeling like a passenger.
Okay, so we embrace that shift, focus on ourselves. But then the big question is, what exactly are we focusing on? Which brings us straight to step one, and it seems absolutely non-negotiable. Getting crystal clear, like razor sharp clear on the life you truly want. The source really nails a common mistake here, chasing what it calls aspirational fog.
We say things like, I want to be successful, or I just want to be happy, which sound nice, but
they offer zero real direction, right? It's too vague.
Exactly. Vague doesn't work. Clarity, as the material really emphasizes, means getting granular, specific. It's moving past those fuzzy wishes and asking, okay, what kind of success? In what specific field? Doing what kind of work? Living where? With who around you, You just can't hit a target you haven't clearly defined. You might work really hard, sure, but you could be running hard in totally the wrong direction, just activity, not progress.
And the danger, if you don't have that clarity, it's huge. You just drift. You end up taking whatever comes along. And life throws a lot your way, doesn't it? Opportunities that look good, maybe, but aren't right for you. Advice, often well-meaning, from people who just don't get your vision. Situations that just eat your time but give nothing back if you're not clear. You'll just keep saying yes to the wrong stuff. And every wrong yes, it just pulls you further off your real path, like setting off without a map.
And getting that clarity, it's not like 5 minutes of thinking. It's not a quick flash. It's a serious, maybe even brutal conversation with yourself. The source talks about peeling back layers, societal expectations, old conditioning to find what really resonates deep down. It means asking hard questions like, what truly makes you feel alive? Or what work would you still do even if nobody paid you for it? What values are non-negotiable for you? It demands honesty even if the answers aren't what people expect. It's your life.
That makes sense. But I wonder, do people maybe avoid getting that clear because they're scared of making the wrong choice? Like, what if I pick this and it's not right? Does the source touch on that?
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge point. And the material is really clear on this, not choosing. That's actually worse than choosing a path and then needing to adjust later. Not choosing just keeps you stuck. Inertia. Even if you pick something and find out it's not quite right, you can pivot, you learn, you change course, you gained experience, but you can't adjust a course you never started. Clarity is just about knowing enough to take those first steps, and then keeping your eyes open to refine as you go.
Okay, so it's not just about the distant future then. It's about right now.
Yeah.
Daily stuff.
Totally. That's the part people often miss. Clarity isn't just some big picture vision board thing. It's about daily actions. If you say you want financial freedom, well, that clarity has to shape how you handle your money today. Want a stronger mind? Then you need to read, study, challenge yourself regularly. Real direction comes from aligning what you do every day with where you ultimately want to be. Without that, the vision's just Yeah,
Yeah.
the fantasy.
Right. And sometimes getting clear means getting rid of stuff too.
Precisely. You can't see your path if it's buried under things you don't care about. Obligations, draining relationships. The source uses this great analogy. You can't keep watering weeds and expect flowers to grow.
Yeah.
Simple but powerful. You've got to be willing to say no. No to invitations, commitments, even people if they don't align. Every no to something unimportant, that's a yes to what really matters to you.
And ultimately, clarity comes from doing, right? Not just sitting around thinking forever. You got to try things, test ideas, take action, see how it feels. Sometimes you don't know until you do it, but you have to start. And once you have that clarity, you need to protect it fiercely because people challenge it. They'll say, it's too hard, unrealistic. Their voices can totally drown yours out if you're not careful.
Yeah, and a really practical tip for protecting it is write it down, keep it somewhere you see it, read it every morning. Remind yourself why you're doing this, especially on tough days, because motivation, it comes and goes. Clarity is your anchor when the excitement fades and, the real work begins.
This all kind of circles back to taking responsibility too, doesn't it? You can't just blame the economy or your boss or circumstances for the life you end up with. Every step you take, or maybe you don't take, is shaping that road ahead. If you want things different, you got to choose different, starting now.
Exactly. And if we zoom out, connect this to the bigger picture. Clarity is freedom. When you know what you want, you stop wasting time chasing things you don't. You stop worrying about impressing the wrong people. You stop measuring your life against someone else's highlight reel. You're free. Free to build what matters to you at your pace, your way. And that is the real foundation for a life with genuine direction.
Okay, but knowing what you want,
Yeah.
that's only half of it, right? Because the clearest map in the world won't get you there if you don't have the right tools, or maybe know how to use them. And that brings us neatly to the next big piece, working on skills. The skills that will actually change your future. The source calls skills the tools you use to create opportunities. Makes sense? If your tools are rusty or outdated, building that life is going to be tough.
Yeah, this really challenges that common idea that things will just get better somehow, by hoping. The truth the material lays out is, your future only improves when you improve. And skills are the fastest, most reliable way to do that. It forces you to ask this really compelling question. Okay, the person living the life I dream about, what do they know how to do that I don't know how to do yet? That's where the real work starts, identifying that gap.
And this isn't just about collecting random facts, right?
Mhm.
It's strategic, focusing on the abilities directly connected to that future you want. Like if you want to start a business, you got to learn marketing, sales, finance, leadership, those kinds of things. If it's a tough industry, you need those specific technical skills that really make you stand out.
Exactly. And the real key to skill development, according to the source, isn't just putting in time, it's deliberate practice. That means actively seeking out tasks just beyond what you can currently do comfortably, pushing yourself, getting feedback. It's focused struggle, not just, going through the motions. And yeah, it's definitely not overnight. Most people quit way too early, before they even get close to mastery. Often, the most valuable skills are the ones we avoid because they make us uncomfortable, like public speaking or really getting a handle on money.
And that definitely involves sacrifices, doesn't it? Finding the time, giving up distractions, maybe saying no to social stuff sometimes. The source is pretty direct about this. People talk about balance, but when you're really building something significant, sometimes that balance has to, take a backseat to intense focus for a while. Those sacrifices now, they're like the investment for freedom and options later.
That's a great way to put it. And what's really interesting here is that skills aren't static. It's a moving target. The world changes, industries evolve. What's valuable now might not be in 5 years. So you have to keep updating, keep learning, and learn in layers. Don't just focus on one narrow thing. You add communication, leadership, project management on top of technical skills. Each layer gives you more options, more control.
And we absolutely can't forget the soft skills, can we? They get overlooked so often. Things like emotional intelligence, self-discipline, managing your time, negotiation. These are skills too. Maybe they don't sound as impressive as coding or something, but honestly, they're often the difference maker. People fail because they can't manage themselves or work with others or handle pressure. These soft skills are actually incredibly hard to master. And the people who do, they really stand out.
Totally agree. And the process needs to be measurable too. You can't just say, I'm learning. Are you actually getting better? Set specific goals. And there's a huge difference between just passively learning, reading, watching videos, and actively applying it. Reading is a start, sure, but you have to use the skill in real situations as soon as possible. Make mistakes. Learn from them, adjust. That's how you go from knowing about it to actually owning it.
It's definitely normal to feel like you're not improving fast enough sometimes, though. Skill growth can be slow, almost invisible for a while. You practice and practice, not much seems to change. Then suddenly, click, something falls into place. The key is just sticking with it through those slow patches. Quitting early means you never get to see the results. Just start where you are with what you have.
And here's something subtle but really powerful the source mentions. Finding the right people to learn from. Mentors, coaches, experienced colleagues. They can shave years off your learning curve, point out blind spots you don't see. Your environment matters too. If you surround yourself with people who value growth, who are learning themselves, you'll naturally push harder. Find those places.
Yeah, at the end of the day, building skills, it's just incredibly empowering. They can't be taken away from you. They're yours, and they compound over time. Each new skill makes you more capable, more independent, and way more confident. Confidence doesn't come from wishing, right? It comes from knowing you can handle stuff because you've built the ability to deal with it. Okay, so you've got some clarity, you're building skills, but what about actually staying on track? Which brings us to the next big challenge the source tackles. Learning how to block out all the noise, the stuff that constantly tries to pull you off your path.
Oh, the noise. It's everywhere, isn't it? Opinions from people who don't get your vision, the phone buzzing constantly, news cycles, trends making you second guess yourself, and maybe the worst one, comparing yourself to others. Noise has this sneaky way of feeling urgent, like you have to pay attention right now, but usually it's just a distraction. If you're not super careful, you can spend years just reacting to noise instead of building your own thing.
And it's so easy to forget that you actually have to decide whose voice matters, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not every opinion deserves equal weight. You got to be really discerning about who you take advice from, especially if they haven't walked a similar path. It's not rude, it's just protecting your mental space.
Yeah.
Every time you let an unhelpful voice in, it plants doubt, and doubt just kills momentum.
Technology definitely makes it louder, too. The phone is a constant interruption machine. Social media, that's probably one of the biggest noise generators out there. It's a nonstop comparison trap. Pulls your focus right off your own journey and onto theirs. You just can't follow your path if you're constantly watching someone else's highlight reel.
And it's not always the obvious negative stuff either. Even people who mean well can be noise. Friends, family. Sometimes they try to talk you out of things, projecting their own fears onto you, and accidentally steer you wrong.
Right, and let's not forget the internal noise. Sometimes the loudest voice is the one in your own head. Your doubts, your insecurities, telling you you're not ready, not good enough. That can be the hardest noise to tune out.
So how do we quiet all this down? It sounds like having that clear plan we talked about acts like a filter. Like when you know what you're aiming for, it's easier to spot what doesn't fit.
Exactly. And protecting that focus means setting boundaries, real ones, maybe limiting when you check messages, setting specific communication times so your deep work doesn't get chopped up, maybe even creating quiet, tech-free blocks of time just to think and work. It's about fiercely owning your attention.
You know, one of the best ways to deal with noise seems to be just replacing it with purpose. If your day is packed with meaningful stuff that actually moves you forward, there's just less room for distractions, right? You're too busy building.
That's a great point. And also just pausing before responding to every request. Not everything needs an instant answer. And letting go of that need to constantly prove yourself to everyone. The source wisely says, your results will speak for themselves eventually.
It's worth remembering, too, that we sometimes create our own noise, don't we? Taking on too many projects, constantly switching goals. That's internal chaos, internal distraction.
Definitely. And being deliberate about your environment helps too. Surround yourself with focused people, people who respect your time. Their habits rub off on you, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah. Ultimately, ignoring the noise. It's about choosing your future over all those temporary distractions. Deciding your vision matters more than every passing opinion or headline. Okay, let's shift now to daily actions. Because every day, every single one, is like a building block for your future. What you do with those hours, that determines everything down the line. The source highlights something super common, being busy, but not actually effective. You know, you run around all day, handle small tasks, respond to emails, maybe fill time with distractions, and then at the end of the day, you look back and think, what did I actually accomplish that mattered? Often, not much.
This is where that idea of doing one important thing comes in. It's incredibly powerful. The source outlines this simple technique, sometimes called the Ivy Lee method, adapted here. At the start of the day, identify the single most important task, the one that genuinely builds your future or strengthens your position or solves a big problem. It's not just clearing emails or running errands. It's about prioritizing impact over just being busy.
That immediately makes me think about urgent versus important. Life is full of urgent stuff, screaming for attention, right? Deadlines, someone else's request. They feel urgent, but often they aren't truly important for your long-term goals. They just grab your focus.
Exactly. And this habit works because it forces a new standard onto your days. You stop measuring success by how many tasks you checked off and start measuring it by whether you actually advanced your real goals. It trains you to think strategically every morning. What's the absolute most valuable thing I could get done today? It forces you to look at the big picture.
I can see how, at first, picking just one thing might feel hard. The list might look full of urgent stuff. But if you step back and ask, okay, which one task, if I get it done today, will have the biggest positive impact on my future? The choice usually gets clearer, doesn't it?
Yeah, it often does. And the power is in the compounding. One important action a day might not feel like much today, but after a year, that's over 300 actions that genuinely matter. That's how real transformation happens. Consistent, deliberate progress on the right things.
Plus, getting that one important thing done, it gives you this sense of accomplishment that ticking off little tasks just doesn't match. You made real progress. And that feeling, it builds confidence, builds commitment, leads to more progress.
But you have to protect the time for it. That's crucial. Important work usually needs focus, deep focus. And that just doesn't happen with constant interruptions. You might need to literally schedule it. Treat it like a non-negotiable meeting. If you just wait for a free moment, well, the day will fill up with other stuff every single time.
This also takes some serious honesty, doesn't it? Because often the most important task is the one we least want to do. It's difficult, maybe uncomfortable. But that willingness to face the uncomfortable stuff, that's what separates people who grow from those who just stay stuck. Doing it early in the day, if possible, seems like a good strategy. Get it done before the day pulls you in other directions.
Absolutely. And doing this consistently, it builds self-respect. You prove to yourself day after day that you follow through on your priorities. It also quietly builds your reputation. You become known as someone who delivers results, not just someone who's always busy. It kills that excuse of, I didn't have time, because you make time for what's most important.
And crucially, it keeps those big long-term goals alive in your daily life by asking every day what's most important. You keep your vision right there in front of you. It aligns your daily actions with where you want to go, stops the drifting, replaces vague hopes with deliberate, impactful action every day. Okay, now for something maybe a bit harder, but incredibly important, it's not just about adding new habits or skills. It's also about actively removing the things holding you back. The source makes this really clear. Growth is as much about subtraction as it is addition.
Yeah, the analogy it uses is powerful. You can't keep watering weeds and expect flowers to grow. Simple, right? Until you stop feeding the things that limit you, they'll just keep taking up the time, the energy, the mental space you need for what actually matters. And this demands brutal honesty about what's slowing you down, weakening your focus, damaging your potential. That discomfort in facing it, that's actually the starting point for real change.
So what are some of these common growth killers the source talks about? Wasting time is a big one, obviously. Not just mindless scrolling, but also maybe hours spent on things that just bring you no closer to the life you actually want.
Yeah.
Overcommitting to stuff that doesn't matter.
Exactly. And it goes deeper, too. Holding on to relationships that are maybe subtly toxic, even if they seem fine on the surface. Ones that drain your energy or bring you down or just pull you away from your path without you really noticing. And then there are habits that keep you comfortable, sure, but totally stagnant, making excuses, those little lies we tell ourselves that feel true but stop us cold. And procrastination, which isn't just lost time. It kills your momentum, kills your confidence.
The environment too, right? Underestimating how much a cluttered, distracting space drains your willpower.
Definitely. Other big ones include refusing to take responsibility, always blaming something or someone else. That keeps you powerless. And that pervasive fear of failure stops you from trying new things, taking necessary risks, makes you cling to what's familiar, even if it's holding you back.
And that disconnect. Wanting a different life but living your days exactly the same way, like wanting more money but having no plan, no budget. Or wanting better health but not changing habits. It's like self-sabotage.
Yeah, the list goes on. Complaining keeps your focus locked on problems. Saying yes when you mean no gives away your precious time. Comparison, just a massive joy killer and focus stealer. Self-doubt, that inner voice whispering you can't do it. Avoiding hard conversations that are actually necessary for growth. Expecting change without putting in consistent effort.
And overthinking, that leads straight to paralysis, doesn't it? The advice there seems to be, set a time limit for decisions, then just act. Clarity comes from doing.
Exactly. At the end of the day, stopping these things. It's about reclaiming your time, your focus, your energy. Every bad habit you drop, every negative influence you cut out, it creates space. Space for something better. The more obstacles you remove, the faster you can move. You can add all the new skills you want, but if you're still carrying that old weight, progress will be slow. Painfully slow.
Which leads us perfectly into time itself. It's arguably our most valuable resource, right?
Right.
But also the easiest to waste. We all get the same 24 hours. How you choose to use them, that fundamentally decides if you move forward or stay stuck.
Yeah, moving forward means being intentional about where your attention and energy actually go. Too often, our days get filled with stuff that feels urgent, but it's ultimately meaningless for our real goals. If you're serious about building the life you want, you have to stop giving every demand on your time an automatic yes. Your time needs to be earned by the value it brings to your journey.
This means being brutally honest when you look at your daily routine. Asking, okay, what here actually moves me closer to my goals? Be specific. Because you can be busy all day and achieve absolutely nothing important. Hard work in the wrong direction. Just wasted effort.
And once you know what does move you forward, you have to protect time for it. Like it's gold. That means boundaries, saying no.
Yeah.
No to opportunities, requests, even people if they don't align with your deepest priorities. Remember, every yes to something unimportant is effectively a no to something that could genuinely change your life.
I think we all massively underestimate how much time gets lost in tiny bits. Quick phone checks that turn into 20 minutes. Short chats that stretch into an hour of gossip. Those little moments add up fast. Big chunks of the day just vanish.
Yeah, and one key the source mentions is deep focus. Single tasking, not multitasking. Give your full attention to one important thing, finish it, then move on. You get higher quality work done faster, and you feel less drained.
And aligning your schedule with your priorities. If something's truly important, it needs a slot in your plan, not just squeezed in if there's time. Those things that move you forward, treat them like non-negotiable appointments with yourself.
The material also makes a great distinction between being productive and being effective. Productive is doing lots of stuff. Effective is doing the right stuff. Focus relentlessly on being effective, which also means actively cutting out low-value activities, entertainment that doesn't enrich you, projects that suck energy but give little return.
And learning to spot and avoid time traps. Those situations or habits that consistently pull you off track. Being proactive about them.
This definitely requires long-term thinking, too. Prioritizing things that are investments in your future, even if they don't pay off immediately, and making time for real rest and renewal. Seeing it as essential preparation, not a luxury or wasted time.
A really eye-opening tip from the source is to actually track your time for a week. Write down what you do. Most people have no idea where their time really goes until they measure it. It can be a shocking wake-up call.
It's also crucial to regularly reevaluate your commitments. What made sense last year might not deserve your time now, and surrounding yourself with focused people helps massively. Their discipline rubs off.
Ultimately, the biggest thief of your time. It's often you, isn't it? Your own habits. Checking things just for a minute. Delaying the important work.
Yeah. So spending time only on what moves you forward, that's the ultimate discipline. Choosing progress over comfort consistently. Putting long-term gain over short-term ease. And that consistent choice, day after day, leads to a life with real direction, real purpose, real achievement. The kind others often just dream about.
Okay, so life is always full of voices, right? Family, friends, media, society, constantly telling us things. The challenge, as the source points out, is that these external voices can get really loud. Louder than our own sometimes, telling you how you should live, what you should want, instead of what actually resonates with you.
Right, and the material really emphasizes this. Your own thoughts. They're the only ones truly connected to your unique goals, your experiences, your values. Nobody else fully gets your vision because nobody else is living your life from the inside. Letting someone else's opinion override your own gut feeling or judgment, that can be incredibly dangerous. Because they don't live with the consequences. You do.
And listening to yourself doesn't mean shutting out all advice completely, does it? It's more about filtering. Considering other views, sure, but ultimately making the call based on your truth. When you build that muscle, you stop being so easily swayed. You don't just abandon your plans because someone questioned them.
I think a lot of people rely heavily on outside opinions because they're scared of being wrong. Deep down, they think, well, if I follow their advice and fail, it's not totally my fault. But that thinking, it just robs you of your power. Mistakes made following your own judgment. They lead to much deeper learning, more insight, more resilience.
It's also crazy how easily someone else's words can plant doubt, isn't it? Just a casual comment can make you question something you felt sure about, just because you've maybe unconsciously given their opinion too much weight.
Absolutely. And spending time alone is one of the best ways to strengthen your own inner voice. When you're constantly bombarded with input, it's really hard to tell what's truly your thought and what you've just absorbed. Solitude gives you that space to think without interference, to hear your own reasoning clearly, find real clarity.
And it's probably smart to question where other people's opinions are coming from, too. Are they speaking from experience? Or maybe their own fears? Are they projecting their limitations onto you?
There's a real danger in listening too much. You can start shaping your choices just to avoid judgment, doing things because they're acceptable, even if they don't feel right to you. And slowly, your life becomes this performance, not a genuine expression of who you are.
Listening to yourself also means paying attention to those gut feelings, right? Physical reactions, mental unease. When you're on the right track, there's often this feeling of alignment, maybe calm. When you're not, there's resistance, unease. Your body often knows.
Journaling is such a powerful tool for this. It helps you see patterns in your thinking, separate your true beliefs from absorbed influences. It's like talking to your deepest self.
And giving yourself time before big decisions, unhurried time, to process internally. Not just rushing based on someone else's immediate advice. Your own voice needs space to emerge.
It also takes real courage sometimes to politely say, thanks for the advice, but I'm going to go this way. Understanding that even well-meaning advice can be completely wrong for you.
And the more you listen to yourself, the less you need that external validation, right? Which frees you up to take bolder steps, more authentic steps, without constantly seeking approval.
Yeah, and that steady internal compass leads to a much more consistent path overall. If you're constantly changing direction based on opinions, your journey gets chaotic, fragmented. But when you follow your own grounded thoughts, your direction stays steady. It's intentional.
It connects back to authenticity. And it protects you from being easily manipulated, too. When you're grounded in your own values, your own thoughts, you're harder to sway. You can weigh what others say against your own solid judgment.
Your own voice might seem quiet at first, especially if you're used to following others. But with time, attention, practice, it gets stronger, becomes your most reliable guide.
Yeah. When you choose to listen to your own thoughts, prioritize them. You really reclaim ownership of your life. You stop being pulled everywhere. You become centered, steady, intentional. That's the mindset that lets you walk your path with clarity and purpose, no matter what everyone else is saying.
Okay, but let's be real. There will be days when just continuing feels impossibly heavy. You wake up, no energy, no excitement, no clear reason to keep going. The path looks too long, the challenge is too big, the progress feels invisible. On those days, quitting feels like the easy, maybe even logical choice. But these are the days that matter most, aren't they?
Absolutely. Anyone can move forward when things are easy, when motivation is high. The real test, the real character builder, is whether you keep moving when every fiber of your being wants to stop. When you push through those moments, you're building something incredibly valuable. Resilience. And here's something interesting the source points out. Pushing through isn't just mental toughness, it actually rewires your brain. Each act of discipline strengthens those neural pathways for resilience. It literally makes your future self stronger. And the source is dead clear. Motivation is flaky, it's temporary. Comes and goes with mood, circumstances, discipline. That's what carries you when motivation disappears. It's that quiet choice. Show up, do the work, not because you feel like it, but because you committed to it.
Right. So when you feel like quitting, the first thing to do is often shift your focus. Stop looking at how far you still have to go. That's overwhelming. Instead, just focus on the very next small step. What's the one thing you can do right now? Small steps feel manageable. They build momentum.
And consciously reconnecting with your why, right? Why did you start this in the first place? When you're struggling, it's so easy to forget that original reason. Reminding yourself can reignite that spark, give the effort meaning again.
Then on the really tough days, lower the bar for perfection, definitely. But keep the expectation of effort. You don't have to do everything perfectly. Some days are just about showing up, putting in some effort, even minimal effort. That keeps the habit alive. keeps you moving.
It's also about managing that internal voice, isn't it? The one trying to talk you into quitting. It'll tell you stopping is smart, protective. But you have to recognize it's just that survival instinct trying to avoid discomfort.
Yeah.
And real growth requires discomfort.
Yeah. Sometimes pushing through might mean changing your environment for a bit, or talking to someone supportive who can remind you why you can't give up.
And recognizing that rest can be strategic too, right? But it has to be intentional rest to recharge, not just hiding from the difficulty. Big difference.
Huge difference. And what's really powerful here is the message you send yourself when you push through. I don't quit just because it's hard. That message sticks. It becomes part of who you are. The more you prove it, the stronger that resilience becomes. Builds real character.
You also just have to accept that progress isn't always visible right away. Some of the most important work you do, the results take time. Quitting means you'll never see that effort pay off. Never.
And the Source offers a great reframe for obstacles. They aren't proof you're on the wrong path. They're proof that the path requires you to grow. The road that challenges you most is often the one that transforms you the most, ironically.
Making it easier by having systems in place helps too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Habits, routines. They reduce the need for willpower on those hard days. Make action more automatic.
Definitely. And tracking small wins is invaluable. Keep a record, even tiny steps forward. When you feel like quitting, looking back at that cumulative progress, it's powerful proof that your effort hasn't been wasted. You are moving forward.
That feeling of wanting to quit, it's always temporary, isn't it? It feels overwhelming now, but it will pass. But if you actually give up, the regret lasts way longer than the struggle ever would have.
Yeah. Your future self is literally counting on you to keep going today. The person you want to become only exists if you push through these moments that feel impossible now. And one day you'll look back at these hard days, the ones where you wanted to quit, as the days that truly forged your strength, defined you.
Okay, let's bring this all together now. Tie it back to that core idea, the life you truly want. It's not going to just happen by luck or wishful thinking. It only shows up when your daily actions consistently line up with the person you say you want to become. Every choice, big or small, is either building that desired life or, well, building something else.
And the first step there is that brutal honesty again. What kind of life will genuinely make you feel proud, satisfied, deeply? Thinking about what really matters. What work energizes you? What relationships nourish you? Getting specific.
Then you have to honestly compare that vision to how you're actually living right now. The Source talks about the gap between our dreams and our daily habits, and the discomfort that gap causes. That discomfort, it's a signal, a valuable one. Tells you change is needed, urgently. Like if you dream of being financially free, but your spending is out of control, your actions are pulling you away from the goal, that creates friction.
So you have to train yourself. Look at every decision, big or small, through this lens. Does this move me closer to the life I want or further away? That question needs to become automatic, guiding your choices all day long.
And this kind of alignment, it always requires sacrifice, doesn't it? You can't just keep doing everything the same way and expect a different result.
Yeah.
You will have to give up some current comforts, delay some immediate pleasures, say no to things, even good things, that don't align with the best things for your vision. Every yes to something that doesn't serve your ultimate goal is effectively a no to something that does.
And consistency is key here. One good action once in a while isn't enough. Real change comes from aligning your behavior day after day after day, especially when progress feels slow. And being realistic. Focus on what you can actually control, your skills, your habits, your choices.
It's so easy to get lured by short-term comfort, isn't it? Choosing what feels good now over what will feel amazing later. But each of those little choices, they have a compounding cost to the life you're trying to build.
And deliberately surrounding yourself with people who support that vision is huge. If your environment constantly pushes you towards choices that undermine your goals, you're fighting upstream. Your circle should lift you up, keep you aligned.
And patience. Oh man. Patience is critical. Trusting the process. Believing that every aligned action, no matter how small, is building something important, even if you can't see it yet.
The Source strongly recommends reviewing your actions regularly. Maybe weekly. Just check. Are they still aligned with your goals? Because goals can evolve, life changes, your actions might need to adjust too.
Alignment doesn't mean being perfect though, right? You'll slip up, fall short sometimes. What matters is noticing it quickly, correcting course, and getting back on track with commitment.
Yeah, and a really practical way to ensure alignment is creating those daily non-negotiables. Specific habit or tasks you commit to doing no matter what, they become the bedrock, the foundation of your consistent progress.
This level of intentionality,
Mm-hmm.
it replaces just reacting to life. You stop waiting for luck or the right time. You actively start shaping your reality through your choices every day. That gap between the life you have and the life you want, it only closes if you close it with your actions consistently. Okay, finally, let's talk about sustained effort, because this is tough. There will be times, maybe long stretches, where you work and work day after day, and the results just seem invisible. You put in the hours, the effort, you stay consistent, but the changes are tiny, almost imperceptible. This is where so many people lose heart. They give up right before things might have started to shift.
But anything truly worthwhile takes time, often way more time than we think. And the stronger the foundation you're building, the deeper the roots, the more invisible that early work might be. Patience here isn't just passive waiting, it's active persistence, the ability to keep showing up, keep doing the work, even when you're not getting that external validation or seeing big results yet.
I think slow progress is often just a sign you're in that deep building phase. The quiet, consistent work now is setting up the big results later. If you quit too soon, you never see the payoff. It really is about trusting that unseen process.
It also requires adjusting your perspective on time. We tend to overestimate what we can do in a week, but massively underestimate what we can achieve over years of steady effort. Zoom out. Incremental growth, sustained over time, is incredibly powerful. And what's interesting is that slow progress can actually force you to build skills and resilience that easy, fast progress never would. It teaches you grit through that uncertainty.
And results aren't always linear, are they? You can work for ages with little visible change, then suddenly, whoosh, everything shifts quickly. Because the progress was building quietly under the surface all along.
Yeah, and a great psychological strategy during those slow phases is to consciously track small wins. Don't just measure the huge milestones. Keep a record of every little step forward. New skill learned, habit kept, showing up on a hard day. Acknowledge it.
It's also critical to manage expectations. Avoid those unrealistic timelines that just set you up for disappointment. And resist that urge to compare your timeline to someone else's. Their journey is irrelevant to yours. Stay in your own lane.
What's really powerful here, the source suggests, is that slow progress can teach you to appreciate the journey itself, not just chase the destination. When results are instant, you kind of skip the lessons. But when you work for something over time, you learn to value the process, the discipline, the problem solving, the growth.
The source also recommends breaking huge goals down into smaller, achievable phases or stages. Working on something massive can feel endless, but dividing it up creates more frequent moments of accomplishment, fuels momentum.
Accountability partners can help too, definitely. As long as they're supportive, believe in your vision, and encourage persistence, not quitting.
And just remember, slow progress is still progress. Standing still, that's the real danger. As long as you're moving forward, even just a tiny bit, you're closer than you were yesterday.
Exactly. The source beautifully concludes that for many who achieved great things, those slow seasons were actually the most important. They're when you prove to yourself you can keep going without constant applause. When you develop the patience, the discipline, the inner strength needed for bigger challenges later, the pace doesn't define the value of your work. Your commitment does. Your persistence.
So wow, we've covered a lot in this deep dive. We've seen how building real direction, real purpose, it's not just one big decision. It's this continuous, deliberate process. It's getting crystal clear on what you want, building the skills you need, setting boundaries to protect yourself from noise, taking intentional action every single day, removing the things that hold you back, investing your time wisely, listening to your own inner guidance, finding the grit to push through hard days, aligning your choices with your vision consistently, and committing to that sustained effort, even when progress feels incredibly slow.
Which really raises a crucial question for you, listening right now. Are you living by default, just letting things happen, letting pressures dictate your path? Or are you choosing to live by design, actively, intentionally shaping the life you truly want to create?
You absolutely deserve more than just drifting through life. So our challenge to you right now is this. Identify just one important thing you can commit to doing today. Or maybe just one piece of noise you can actively choose to ignore. Just one thing to start walking the path you truly want. That incredible journey, it begins with that single intentional step.